Hello everybody, and welcome to the Digital Directors Toolkit Zoom settings video. So essentially what we're going to be looking at today are some of the options and some of the settings in Zoom that you can switch on and switch off in order to make sure that your production has the best quality audio and video, and also eliminate some of the more common problems that you might run into as well. Alright, so I'm going to launch Zoom and then we'll start going through all of the different options and settings that you have available. So you can access your settings in the top right corner of the home screen here. Click on settings on that cog. So first we're going to look at the general settings. So really what we're trying to do today is we're trying to change our settings to get the best quality audio video, but also minimize any kind of interference from Zoom. So we want to switch off alerts. We want to remove any extra information that's going to get in the way of the production essentially. So the first thing we want to make sure is switched off is always show meeting controls, because that will be displayed over the video of your Zoom recording. We don't want that to be there getting in the way, so we want to switch that off. And we also want to switch off show my connection time for exactly the same reason, because it's just another thing that will get in the way. Okay, next we're going to go to video. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that this HD box is ticked on our camera options. And this is essentially going to ensure that we are getting the best quality footage possible. This is especially true if we're pre-recording some footage that we're going to send to somebody else. Now, in some circumstances, you might want to switch this off if you're having connection problems, or if you're using a 4G connection rather than plugged into an actual network, because this will put a little bit more strain on your connection. So the next thing that we want to make sure we're doing is mirroring our video, because essentially it's a lot easier to see what we're doing if we're setting up lighting and we're moving around within a scene if the video is mirrored. Make sure that you have touch up my appearance switched off. These are all adjustments that you can make yourself in post. This is especially true again if you're pre-recording stuff, but also it doesn't do a very good job of touching up your appearance. It just fudges everything a little bit and adds a bit of contrast, and those are all things that we can control in vMix afterwards. Next, we want to make sure that we have adjust for low light switched off, and the reason for that is because adjusting for low light can result in very grainy footage. And actually, if we want the scene to be brighter, what we need to be doing is changing the lighting in the room rather than relying on software to make those adjustments for us. So next, we want to make sure that we have always display participant names in their video unticked, because again, this will just get in the way. It might also be a good idea to hide non-video participants, just in case you want somebody to be doing a voiceover and you don't want to actually be visible on the Zoom call, you just want to hear their voice. Make sure you have this switched off as well, because it can mess with the order of things and how you've arranged people in the window. Make sure that optimized video quality with denoise is unticked. And then using hardware acceleration for video processing, sending video and receiving video is all fine, and can be really useful for taking load off your CPU if you have a dedicated graphics card. Video rendering method, leave it on auto. Rendering method, post-processing and capturing, it's fine to leave those on auto. Next, let's look at the audio settings. So here, you can select your speaker and select your microphone, and you can run a test in order to check that they're working. Very, very simple, but I'd recommend that you get all of your cast or all of your students to check these are working first before they join the call. I would turn off automatically adjust microphone volume, and instead what you should be doing is making sure that you are close enough to your microphone and you're speaking loud enough, because automatically adjusting the microphone volume can actually cause a lot of problems. For example, if somebody stops speaking, their microphone sensitivity will go up to really, really, really loud. So any little noises they make in the background will be very obvious. So make sure that you have automatically adjust microphone volume turned off, and instead check the input level. And if you're not coming through loud enough, reposition your microphone, bring yourself closer to it, or just speak a little bit louder. We want suppressed background noise to be switched on low as well, because having this switched on high can cause a strange kind of distortion to people's voices. Just try and encourage people to ensure that they're in a quiet or relatively quiet environment and they've made other people in their house aware that they're recording. Okay, so next we're going to look at our recording options. And record a separate audio file for each participant can be very, very useful for if you're editing something in post. So have that switched on. You can select where you store your recordings. I think I've just got them stored in my documents, but you can have them wherever you want. Make sure that you add a timestamp for the recording. This again makes editing easier. and then also optimized for third-party video editor, have this ticked on as well. All right, so in terms of the chat settings, the main things I want you to change here are switch push notifications onto nothing, untick play sound when I receive a new message, and then mute chat notifications while I'm in a meeting or internet call. Essentially, if you switch these off, it means that you're far less likely to get any interruptions in the middle of your production from a notification. So it's just a bit safer to switch off your notifications. Okay, so those are just some recommended settings and guidelines for how you ensure you get the best quality audio and video, and also minimize the chance of there being any interruptions during your production. If you have any questions about using Zoom or any of the settings, or how to set up your camera or your microphone, then please do get in touch. My email address will be at the end of the video. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.